the data transfer and data storage cost. There is a monthly fee depending on how much data we have stored on average in a given month. So this is calculated on a daily average basis. And again, since our account is leveraging the external cloud providers for the data storage, this depends on which is the cloud provider and the region that our account is based on. So for example, if this is based on US East and AWS, we have a cost of $40 per terabyte per month. So this is based on the cloud provider's cost, and also the cost is calculated after the data compression. We know that Snowflake compresses the data into blobs, and this is therefore important that this amount of data is calculated after this data compression. Now, in regards to the storage, usually the default is that we pay on demand what we are using. So we pay for what we have used in a given month once the month has been ended. And then again, depending on the region, we have a specific price. So this can differ again on the different regions. So for example, if we choose another region, for example, Frankfurt, we see the prices can differ. But now there's also another way to save on some cost, and this is to reserve some capacity storage. We can also see that in here, where we have to pay upfront for a defined capacity, and then this will be a lower price. But of course, we should have a good understanding of how much we need actually. And to demonstrate this, let's have a look at the following scenario. We assume that we need 1 terabyte of storage. And in this case, we would have to pay upfront $23 for the capacity storage. But of course, now let's assume the following scenario. We have only, in fact, needed 100 gigabytes, so we needed much less. We still have to pay the full $23 that we have paid upfront, even though we just used a lot less. And therefore, in this situation, if we don't have a good understanding and we actually needed much less storage, we would have been a lot cheaper with the on-demand storage. But now, in another scenario, when we actually are close to what we have estimated, we can see in on-demand, we now would have to pay more than in the capacity storage. So like this, we can easily see that it's smart to start on-demand. And then once we have a good understanding about our usage, so after a while, we should get a actually pretty good understanding for how much we need. We can then still shift towards the capacity storage just to save on some additional cost. But now that we have discussed the compute and the storage, there's still something left for the data transfer. So this is something that I also quickly want to mention. In general, data ingress is free. So we are not charged for getting data into Snowflake. This is also because the external cloud providers, they also don't charge for data ingress. So this is free, but once we want to get data out of Snowflake, the cloud providers charge, and therefore we also have costs for this. So this is based again on the different cloud providers. We can have a look again into the website under the pricing guide. And now if we scroll down, we can choose the on-demand, so based on what account and so on. But we can also see the pre-purchase capacity, and there we also see the data transfer cost. You can, for example, see for AWS, if this is just within the same region and the same cloud, so still AWS, we would not pay anything. So if we want to transfer data to another Snowflake account, but this is the same region and the same underlying cloud provider, we would not be charged for this. But once we want to send it to a different region in the same cloud, it is getting more expensive. And if we want to even send this to a completely different cloud provider, this will be even more expensive. So you can see all of the prices for Azure, AWS, and GCP. This is important to understand. Data ingress is free, but once we want to get data out of Snowflake, this will be charged. So when does this occur? This occurs when we want to transfer data or replicate data to another account that is not in the same region or that is not the same cloud provider. So if it's in the same region and the same cloud provider, then this would be also still free. So this is what we need to know about compute cost, storage cost,